Hello class, we are now discussing domain EUKARYA, and under this domain is Kingdom Protista and Kingdom Fungi. This will be our topic today. Kingdom Protista. This grouping is referred to by biologists as an artificial grouping. So, tinawag siyang artificial grouping kasi sa totoo lang, kalat-kalat kasi sila. Okay? So, artificially, ginroup sila as Kingdom Protista. Now, members of Kingdom Protista come from unrelated ancestors. Ayan, kaya sila tinawag na artificial grouping. Protists are organisms under Kingdom Protista. Protists differ in size, movement, and method of obtaining energy. Okay. In terms of method in obtaining energy, protists are grouped. Ayan, kaya sila nagkaroon ng artificial grouping kasi pinattern sila kung paano sila kumukuha ng energy. So, meron tayong phototropes. Photo means light, no? So, they make their own food based sa sunlight. Okay. These are like plants in that they have chlorophyll. So, paara nilang ginagaya yung mga halaman. Kahit hindi naman talaga sila tunay na halaman, no? But, since they produce their own food, like the plants, at saka meron din silang chlorophyll. Okay? But they are not plants. They are protists. Examples are algae, dinoflagellates, and euglenoids. Yung mga examples. Phototropes. And unahin natin yung algae. Yung algae, aquatic organisms sila na may ability to conduct photosynthesis. Okay, kaya they can make their own food. But again, hindi sila halaman. Okay, they are algae. Meron din tayong dinoflagellates. They are also aquatic organisms having the characteristic of both plants and animals. So, ginagaya nila either yung ginagawa ng plants and animals. That's how they obtain energy. No, ginagaya nila yung plants. So, nagkakanak sila ng photosynthesis, and ginagaya din naman ng animals. They move. They cause bioluminescence in water surface. Nitong nakaraan sa balita, may pinalabas na pinost yung isang nag-viral na video ng isang babae. Na-upload niya. Pinakita niya na yung dagat dun sa resort na pinaglangoyan nila umiilaw. Okay? Gabi na nun. So, effect yun ng bioluminescence nung mga dinoflagellates na yun. Okay? Next naman, euglenoids. They have specific movements which are creeping movements followed by contraction and expansion of the body. Creeping movements. So, gumagalaw sila gamit yung katawan nila. Yun yung mga euglenoids. Example ng algae, madami yan. Green algae, golden, brown, red. Pag nagsustore ng starch, green algae yon. Kapag leucosin oil, golden algae yon. Laminarin, brown algae yon. Floridian starch, red algae yon. Para saan yung mga algae? Pwede silang ingredient sa mga cosmetics. Yan, sa mga ginagawang toothpaste, sa mga ice cream, sa mga what else? Sa mga paggawa ng iba't ibang cosmetic products as well as yung mga kinakain natin. Pwede ding gelatin, ayan, ganun. So, maraming benefit ang mga algae na to. So, aside from phototropes, ginugroup din sila. Number 2, as heterotrophs. Hetero, they feed on other organisms. So, paano sila na-divide? 3. Una, no permanent part of movement. So, yung katawan nila mismo panggalaw nila. B, with limited movement. Nakakagalaw sila pero hindi freely. And C, hindi gumagalaw or hindi kayang gumalaw. Yan. Anong examples ng mga no permanent structure? Radiolarians, foraminiferans, amoeba. Next, number 2, may movement. Okay, so may mga heterotrophs na merong cilia. Yung parang sa ilong natin. O yung katawan nila may gano'n, parang mga hairy-like structure. Yun yung panggalaw nila. Next, limited movement. Ito yung mga molds. Yan, yung mga slime, water molds. Yan. And meron talagang no movement. Sila yung mga sporozoan. Gaano kahalaga yung algae? So, most members ng dinoflagellates nakatira sa ocean and seas. They cause red tide. Ang main species niyan ay may scientific name na Pyrodinium bahamense. Sila yung nagkakos ng red tide. Organisms might have fed on the dinoflagellates which produce toxins and cause paralysis. Yun yung effect niya. Na nag-lead sa death. Okay? So, ingat tayo pag may red tide. Next, let's move to domain EUKARYA, Kingdom Fungi. So, members of this Kingdom Fungi have no chlorophyll. Kasi kanina doon sa Kingdom Protists, merong mga gumagaya sa mga plants kasi meron silang chlorophyll. Dito naman sa fungi, wala. Okay? So, they cannot produce their own food. Some are parasites, while others feed on decaying matter and are called saprophytes. Okay, so saprophytes pala yung tawag dun sa mga nagfi-feed sa mga nabubulok na mga bagay or material. Okay, lalo na sa mga gubat-gubat. Now, fungi undergo asexual reproduction by forming buds and spores. Fungi bodies consist of hyphae and root-like rhizoids that attach to them to the substrate on which they grow. So, example niyan yung mga mushroom, ayan. No? Nag-a-attach sila sa substrate. Pag sa may substrate, hindi lang lupa, no? Pwede din sa mga rotten log, ayan, sa mga sementong basa, mga substrate yun. Hyphae absorb and provide nutrients to the fungi by extending downward into the substrate. Di ba yung mga mushroom meron silang yung parang mahabang galamay mula sa tuktok. Ayan, mga hyphae yun. Tapos kumakapit sila hanggang pababa ng substrate. Doon sila nagpo-provide ng nutrients para sa katawan nila. Examples of fungi are mushroom, ayan, bread mold. Tapos, in medicine naman, meron tayong Penicillium notatum. Fungi siya. Okay? So, fungi pala yung gamot na nilalagay natin sa sugat, yung penicillin. Okay? Gaano kahalaga yung fungi? Ginagamit siya para sa soy sauce, sa paggawa nun, sa yeast as an ingredient para sa bread. Yung fungi, nakakatulong siya sa pag-decompose ng mga organic materials. Okay? Para maging fertilizer, ganyan, bumalik yung mga dating mga organic materials sa lupa. And however, some fungal species can be harmful to other organisms and humans. Tulad yung mga fungal na natin sa paa. Ayan, syempre, naman yan. Nagkokos siya ng harm sa body. So, those are the things under fungi. So, yung up next naman natin, ibang kingdom naman, no? We're done with the Kingdom Protists and Kingdom Fungi. Under pa rin ang domain EUKARYA. Thank you. Bye. Good day, class. Today, you're going to watch videos under domain EUKARYA, Kingdom Protista.
Harold Robinson, and in this What Is video, we're going to discuss a group of organisms called Protists. Protists are organisms that have a nucleus and other membrane-bound organelles. Most are one-celled, and they are classified as plant, animal, or fungus-like, meaning they have things in common with these organisms, but they're not quite the same thing. This is because they're relatively simple and don't have tissues and organs. If you think this definition sounds a little confusing, that's with good reason. Biologists use the protist group as sort of a garbage can. If a form of life doesn't meet the criteria for being a plant, animal, or fungus, and it has a nucleus, it's classified as a protist. Still, there's a few characteristics that most protists share. Because protists have a defined nucleus, they belong to the domain EUKARYA and are called eukaryotes. Protists were probably the first eukaryotes according to what's called endosymbiotic theory. The first protists formed when cells that did not have a nucleus engulfed smaller cells. Over many years, these smaller cells evolved into the larger cell's nucleus and other organelles. Most protists live in water or very wet environments, and most are able to move. Some swim via whip-like projections called flagella. Some glide using hair-like extensions called cilia, and some pull themselves along using pseudopods, false feet made of cytoplasm. Some protists are free-living, and some are parasites. Some make their own food, and some get nutrition by hunting food or by simply absorbing it from their environment. Protists can reproduce via sperm and egg or by binary fission, splitting into two genetically identical cells. Protists may be simple forms of life, but they're certainly one of the most diverse.
Of all the kingdoms of life, Kingdom Protista is perhaps one of the most diverse and interesting. Kingdom Protista spans from single-celled organisms with various means of locomotion and obtaining energy to huge kelp, hundreds of feet in length, that create expansive underwater forests that are home to a wide variety of marine life. But what do these diverse forms of life have in common? First, the cells of all protists have a nucleus and other complex organelles, unlike the prokaryotes of the domains archaea and bacteria, which have neither nuclei or complex organelles. Secondly, all the members of Kingdom Protista have one or more characteristics that prevent them from being classified in kingdoms fungi, animalia, or plantae. For example, though there are protists that bear a striking resemblance to fungi, molecular analysis reveals that the cell walls of these protists are made up of cellulose, not the chitin found in all fungi. Another example is that, though a form of green algae now classified in Kingdom Protista is believed to have given rise to the members of Kingdom Plantae, the method of reproduction nevertheless differs significantly between algae and plants. Finally, though there are animal-like protists which are believed to have given rise to all the larger organisms found in Kingdom Animalia, these single-celled protists aren't classified as animals simply because, by definition, animals are multicellular. Various modes of nutrition are represented in Kingdom Protista. The algae of Kingdom Protista are autotrophs that trap solar energy and convert it to chemical energy through photosynthesis. Predatory protists like amoeba and paramecium are heterotrophs that obtain energy and nutrients by capturing and ingesting prey. Many fungi-like protists are saprotrophs, which absorb nutrients from dead or decaying organic matter, while a variety of protists are parasites. As alluded to earlier, the ancestors of modern protists are believed to have given rise to fungi, plants, and animals. To the confusion of taxonomists, many protists, such as Euglena, fit equally well into animal-like or plant-like categories. Euglena, for example, have photoreceptors and can swim toward a stimulus, features commonly associated with animals. But they use these abilities to seek light levels appropriate for photosynthesis, a process associated with plants. Thus, Protistan taxonomy is still the subject of revision and controversy. Here we group members of the Kingdom Protista into three categories: the fungus-like slime and water molds, animal-like protozoa, and the plant-like unicellular and multicellular algae.
Ayan. Ayan, so nakita natin yung mga examples ng Kingdom Protista. So, yung Kingdom Protista natin, nahati siya sa tatlo, no? Animal-like, plant-like, and yung isa pa, yung fungi-like, no? So, ginagaya nila yung mga ginagawa, how they obtain their energy. Mostly, Kingdom Protista have artificial groupings. So, next naman na video is about Kingdom Fungi.
Walking through New England's forests, we see evidence of fungi everywhere. Mushrooms of all types erupt from the forest floor or form shelf-like growths on the bark of trees. Forest fungi can also take on an extraordinary variety of less familiar forms. Much fungal growth may not be seen, either because it is microscopic or because it is out of sight, inside wood or leaf litter, even in the ground beneath our feet. Fungi are not plants. They do not photosynthesize, but must find food like animals do. Fungi belong to a kingdom of life all their own, distinct from animals, plants, and bacteria. More than 70,000 species have been described, but there are estimated to be more than 1.5 million on Earth. All large fungi, called macrofungi, are composed of distinctive branching tissues called hyphae, and their cell walls contain chitin, not the cellulose found in plants. Mushrooms are the fruiting bodies of many macrofungi. Within their gills are millions of tiny reproductive cells, or spores, that are easily dispersed by the wind. When spores find suitable habitat, they germinate and slender hyphae emerge. Absorbing nutrients and moisture directly from their surroundings, the hyphae grow into a larger colony, called a mycelium. Huge networks of mycelia permeate soil, leaf litter, and decaying wood. Mushrooms and other macrofungi make up only part of the fungal community of the forest. A diversity of microfungi, including molds, rusts, and yeasts, thrive on or within every substrate in the forest. Like larger fungi, they have chitinous cell walls, and most have structures formed from hyphae. A few, like yeasts, live as single cells.
So, yun yung mga different organisms under Kingdom Fungi. Yung ibang fungi, nagiging decomposers sila. So, nakakatulong sila sa environment. While others naman, harmful, no? Yung sa mga fungus na nakikita natin sa ating mga balat, sa mga paa. Yan, syempre, hindi maganda yung uri ng fungi na yan.